gonna stop laughing at me, sister. Hey, y'all. How are you? We are back. Welcome to Real Women, Real Talk, where we give you a sneak peek into our sister circles for Real Women Rock. We are elated to be back with you for episode 20. You hear me? We are here. Yes. Sister, we are here. Listen, my name is Trenace Richardson. I'm the founder of Real Women, and this is my sister. She is.
I am the Shavon Carter. I am a facilitator for Real Women.
You are. We have, so we are multi-hyphenate. So we have a whole lot of roles, a whole lot of things going on. But I can just truly say this has been one of the joys of my end of the 2023 year, beginning of 2024. I've been having a blast doing this.
True. And I'm listening back to the episodes, like to the recordings after we're done, and they bless me. I'm like, some good stuff.
Yeah. Ain't no vanity in this at all. We are here to help each other. And as you share, no matter who you are, as you open your mouth to share, you bless you. you bless somebody else, but you can also bless yourself by allowing it to come up out of you. So I know we're jumping right in, but Real Women, Real Talk allows you the opportunity to, no matter where you are in the world. So please share this worldwide, share this with someone you know. You get not only a sneak peek into our organization, and Real Women Rock is an amazing nonprofit. We create safe spaces for women to do personal development work, soul work on themselves, to help them connect with other women in meaningful ways and grow their own personal confidence and become a catalyst of change in their own lives and the lives of others. We do that. And we also, in that connection in this podcast, we give you an opportunity to laugh and be inspired and to grow and learn something new about yourself and us. And so we want you to take this journey with us for this episode. And if you haven't listened or watched the other episodes, go back, child. We got 19 other episodes that will bless your whole life. And truth be told, we are a good time. So
I'm trying to see
good time. So join us. And if you want to know more about our organization, listen here. Go to realwomenrock.org. It's down there. Go there. Go to Real Women Rock. And sister, before we get into our segments, I just want to say, we've been asking you all every episode, if you have anything you'd like to share with us, send it to us by email, send us maybe some comments in the YouTube videos. We really want to hear from you. And I can say I have personally heard from folks. They've texted me, they've emailed, and we've seen the comments at the bottom of some of our videos to say that they're enjoying it. They can relate. They can connect. Have you heard those comments as well?
Yeah, they have been loving it. They have been laughing with us. So they're loving the show.
Good. We decided in this new year of 2024, this month of February at the time that you are seeing this, that we wanted to make available to you an easier way to talk back to us, to share with us. And so you can now go to speakpipe.com /Real Women, Real Talk. Come on. Who will be the first one to tell us what you think of the show, to give us some insight into a question that we've asked you? Share your answers with us. This is your opportunity to talk back to us. And it may be, if it's a scenario that we've posed, if it's a question that we've asked, we may just share it here publicly, or if not verbally, then maybe the recording itself. We really just want to engage with you on a deeper level. I'm excited, sister. We got something new going on.
Yes, this is so cool. So you can leave a voice message and we will hear it, and you might be a guest and not even know it on the show.
How about it?
Yeah.
And so if it cuts off, if it cuts you off and you sharing, just go back in and pick back up again and continue the story or whatever you want to share with us. We want to hear from you, and we're making it easier for you to do that in 2024. So who will be the first one is the question. I'm excited to see it when we get them. We're so excited. Last episode we celebrated 100 downloads, and now we've got something else in store for you. So I'm excited, but we have all of these wonderful announcements because things are happening in Real Women all the time. New sister circles have been formed, and you have to go to the website to find out more information. But we got so carried away. Real Talk is our first segment, right? So
it is.
Real Talk, we just want to check in with each other, check in with you all. So use this speakpipe.com to let us know how you are doing while we share with each other. Sister, Real Talk, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I feel peaceful. I feel joyful. I feel happy. I feel content. I feel fulfilled. I feel all those things. Yep.
That is a beautiful space to be in. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, I feel really good. And I think we're going to talk about some of that, some of the why of my goodness in this season. And I know I'm aware that it's seasonal. I'm aware that it's cyclical, that I will experience ups and downs. And so why not just bask in and fully embrace when you are feeling good? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for the other shoe to drop, lean into the joy, experience all the loveliness about it. Because like you said, there will be times where you won't feel this way. So it's okay to lean into it.
Absolutely. So we are leaning into the joy today. I feel it with you. So Real Talk, I'm doing really well too. I had one other question I wanted to ask you because I think this is a part of my goodness right now and my joy. I wanted to ask you, how do you rest? And let me give you some context for that. For some, it is just sleep, it's just sleep. And there are seasons in my life where I'm not able to sleep well. I've talked about it up here before, about using meditation music and all that to really help me rest. And some of it is just so much going on in my head. We're gonna talk about this more in the deep dive. So much going on in my head, but it's also at my big age of 49, at my big age, I have started experiencing things hormonally that would cause me not to rest well. And it's so hilarious because my husband jokes, he's like, I don't know if you are hot or cold. You kick the covers off, then put them back on. You got a fan on the side of the bed, but then you're hot. You don't know what you want. You are confused. That's what you are. And it is confusing. Let me tell you, it is. But all of those things hinder my rest. And I would absolutely love to know from anybody in the listening or watching audience, if you are dealing with any of that too, please talk to us on speakpipe.com because I would love to hear from you. But because of that, it cannot just be sleep for me. I have to find other ways to find rest and to quiet my mind and to slow myself down. So before I share, that was context. I wanted to find out how you rest. Is it just sleep for you, or are there other things that you would put under the umbrella of rest for you?
Yeah. So it's definitely sleep. That's the main way that I rest. I take some good naps, honey. I
Sure.
go to sleep and I put my sleep mask on. That helps me to rest and to remove the light, so that really helps me. with my sleep mask, and also just choosing to do nothing
Mm,
the way that I
mhm,
rest. This has been such a beautiful season of not being in school, having a break from school.
mhm,
So just the joys of enjoying not having to work on an assignment has been a season of rest for me. So I just choose to do nothing. That's what I do. So I will lay down. I may look at a show, or I may play games on my phone, or I just may lay in the quiet and then I end up falling asleep because I'm just
mhm, mhm,
so
mhm.
so those are the main ways that I rest.
Yeah, I love that. All of those things work. You made me think about when you talked about your sleep mask.
Mhm,
They call it light pollution when
mhm,
there's too much light around. Um, so that you can be out on the street in the dark, in the pitch black of night, but still have lights everywhere, so much so that you can't see the stars in the sky because of
mhm,
the street lights and the house, everything on.
mhm,
They call that light pollution, and it does. Our body is signaled by that light that we're still supposed to be up. So
yeah,
that's why it's important to dim and darken those lights. So thank you
mhm,
for sharing that.
mhm,
For me, it is definitely sleep. And since we've been talking about this in various episodes, the meditation music, the guided meditations on my Peloton app, there are very specific ways that I'm able to fall asleep at some
mhm,
point.
mhm.
And so sleep is my number one, and most of us don't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And it keeps us at a deficit as it
Mhm,
relates to that, and it can affect our health. So sleep is really important. Rest for me is quiet.
mm,
I equate rest with quiet,
mhm,
and outer quiet, um, absent of noise,
mhm,
as well as inner quiet.
mm,
I love the idea of, so for, I'm a yogi, so I have learned how for several minutes at a time. I know, some yogis could do it for hours. I'm still in the minutes category, but I can sit quietly and within myself get quiet. Around me, maybe not a whole lot of noise, but what that does is it allows me to hear the tiniest and most minute noises around me. So I
yeah,
love doing it in the mornings outside, because
mm,
what happens is sitting right on my porch outside, closing my eyes, I'm
mm,
able to hear the birds, and I'm able to hear, a dog down the street around the
yeah,
corner. Like it's really peaceful for me. So
mhm,
quiet and peaceful equates for me rest.
mhm. That's so good. It reminded me of the trip when I talked in the last episode when I went to Jamaica and just sitting on that balcony,
Mhm,
just listening to the waves and listening. You can hear the people talking out in the on the beach and stuff, but it was just so peaceful. Yeah,
mhm,
definitely.
mhm. And I agree with you. The doing nothingness of it is good too. I
Mhm,
for me, I would equate it or stillness, like just
mhm,
literally having to not move or do anything.
mhm. Yep.
As yeah. And I bring this up in our real talk segment because I honestly don't believe enough of us rest
Yeah.
enough. And
Mhm,
so um finding your peace, your stillness, your quiet, your do nothing, your
mhm,
sleep,
mhm.
your rest, whatever that looks like for you. Tell us, first of all, how do you rest?
Yeah.
And is it just sleep for you? And if you are not resting and you are not sleeping, talk to us about that too. And maybe some of what we've suggested might work for you as well.
Yeah. And can I just say one thing as it relates to rest, what I noticed taking this month to relax and get rejuvenated, I feel better. I
Mhm.
really do. I feel like, okay, I'm ready. I'm in the new year, ready to go back into classes next week. So I just feel like, okay, yeah, I needed that break. So our bodies need rest. Please don't deprive your body of what it so desperately needs. And it will tell you, it's probably been telling you, but just listen to your body and go lay down or whatever
Oh,
rest is for you.
somebody needs to lie down, sis.
Yeah.
Just sit down. Let me tell you, I take this so seriously, or my body told me
Mm.
loudly enough that I took a whole year doing less and
Yeah.
resting more.
Mhm.
And I am, just like you said, I'm coming back to 2024
Mhm.
rejuvenated
Yeah.
and ready to do some things that I didn't have the energy to do last year because I slowed down.
Yeah.
So for somebody, rest is slowing down. Maybe you go 100 miles an hour and it just means a whole lot that you just slow down to 60 miles an hour this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you, do it.
Mm.
And you feel better and your health depends on it. Somebody needs to hear this to slow down so your sugar can go down. We don't
Mhm. Yeah. Your
blood
blood
pressure.
pressure can go down.
Yes, your blood pressure, your heart rate,
Mhm.
all of those things are just connected to us resting. So good
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was a good segment. So that was our real talk. We kind of start off with some how are you doing and checking in with you. And then we just take a plunge. We do a deep dive in our second segment. We call it deep dive because we dig into a topic that maybe we have covered in Real Women or that we just want to take a deep dive into,
Yeah.
and I am so looking forward to this conversation. Sister, I want to talk about sensory overload. And
Okay.
let me put my studious glasses on
Okay.
because I want to read some definitions and really dig in.
Okay.
I really want to figure out if we understand it. So I'll share my understanding of it, but
Mhm.
I want to talk about what it is, and as a result of that, if we have experienced it.
Hmm.
And then I'll dig in some more. But the definition of sensory overload, and I'm just pulling it from a Google search,
Mhm.
is sensory overload is a condition in which an individual receives an excessive or intolerable amount of sensory stimuli.
Hmm.
It happens when something around us overstimulates one or more of our senses, such as a loud TV, a crowded room, a noisy, smelly cafeteria. When your brain is overwhelmed by this input, it enters fight, flight, or freeze mode in
Hmm.
response to what feels like a crisis to your body,
Mm.
making you feel unsafe or even panicky.
Mhm.
And so um, I'll start by asking because it could be panicky or unsafe or just really uncomfortable because it's too much.
Mhm.
It all feels like too much in whatever that moment is of sensory overload. So when you think about that definition and that concept, can you say you've ever experienced that at all?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
2 things come to mind for me when I know that I have experienced sensory overload. One is when I have overindulged on social media, when I'm
Mm,
continuing to scroll, and also if I'm listening to a lot of podcasts back to back, then it can just be too much, and I just have to shut everything down and just get quiet because it's too
mhm,
much information. So
mhm.
that's when I notice, and then also if I'm around people for too long,
You got mine. You stole mine. Yes. Talk about it.
then
Talk
I
about it.
to steal away. I am an introvert at heart for sure, and so even though I can socialize with people and I can be the life of the party, not for too long, because
Mm.
I need to get rejuvenated and re-energized when I'm by myself. And so if I'm around people like for a weekend, okay, Monday, I need to come home and be by myself. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do anything but just be with myself and my thoughts so that I can regroup and get balanced. So yeah, those are the two things that come to mind.
Child. Oh, listen. So I'm gonna start with what you just said, and then I'll go back to kind of what this came out of for me.
Mhm.
People, people. And what's so crazy is everything I do encompasses people. Like my life's calling, whether it's preaching or singing or, or
Yeah,
speaking or facilitating or mentoring, it's people, people, people,
yeah,
people, people, people,
all the people. Yes.
all the people. Um, and as much as I love doing that and it is passion for me, that's how I know I'm an introvert.
Mhm.
I am an extroverted introvert, meaning
Mhm.
I have to be out in the world and do things and I enjoy it for the moment and the time that I do it, but that's not where I get my energy. In
Mm-mm.
fact, it
Mm-mm.
drains me to do
Absolutely.
that. And I
Mhm.
have to go get a refill
Yes.
before I can come back and do it again with some high quality.
Right. Yes.
um and without an attitude. So I know I know sensory overload for me deals with people. So large crowds, I
Mhm.
have to gear myself up. Like I have to love like New Edition. I have to love who I'm going to see or hear because
Yeah.
if you just tell me you want me to go somewhere and it's just going to be a whole lot of people and it's nothing that's a draw for me, child,
Mhm.
please. No,
Mhm.
thank you.
Get somebody
Um,
else to do it.
get
Yep.
somebody else to do it.
Mhm.
It's even so bad for me. I shh,
We won't tell nobody.
don't tell nobody. I police my phone and will not answer if I either don't recognize the phone number or
Mhm.
I know it's about to be a whole conversation that
Yeah.
I didn't plan for.
Mhm.
All of my sister girlfriends know we got an agreement.
Yeah.
Let's agree to when we gonna talk on the phone so that we both feel up to it.
Mhm.
Because if you call me out the blue, I'm assuming there is a fire because
Right.
you have had a chance to text me first or check in with me first and just say, "Are you good? Is this a good time?"
Uh-huh.
And if I don't answer, you know it's not a good time right now for whatever reason. It's so good. People. So that's my big one. That's
Mhm.
my number one. But I can also experience it in other ways. I love that it said, loud TV or loud noises.
Mhm.
All of that can happen for me. What because of people, I just explained why.
Mhm.
But I have felt a need to figure out rest and greater peace and quiet within myself and outside of myself and greater focus. And so
Mhm.
that's how I started. Please go back to the previous episodes. These moments of fasting that
Yeah.
I've been doing.
Mhm.
And it has been for me what I am calling intuitive living.
Mhm. Mhm.
Intuitive living. So I am checking in with myself
Mhm.
about all decisions, big and small,
Mhm.
right? And, I equate that for those who get nervous, I equate that to checking in with God because God is in me.
And
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 so
yes.
I'm not checking out here to somebody separate from me. God is in me. I'm checking in. And
Mhm.
so for me, I'm checking in with myself. Just what do I feel like eating and not and what triggers if it's not a healthy something for me or something that I know is for not for my good, what is
Mhm.
that what triggered that?
Mhm.
It's a whole lot of internal stuff that's happening that I need space and energy to do. And
Mhm.
so So clearing the noise has
Yeah.
been really important for me to live intuitively. It
Mhm.
allows me to focus. It allows me to hear
Mhm.
what is not audible.
Yeah. Yep. Makes
It
perfect.
allows, yeah, it allows me to see what is not visible.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead, sister.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I totally wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that's one of the reasons why I love living by myself
Mm,
because I get ample opportunities to just be. I can be washing dishes and I can hear something. I can sometimes be listening to something and then I
mhm,
just hear. I can be taking a shower. So I have those little moments where
mhm,
I can just hear, and that is so important to me, and I think that's why I'm so protective of my space and my peace, because I know what happens when I have that time to myself and to shut out the noise so that I can really listen.
mhm,
Because that is a part of, like we said, we were talking about intuitions a few episodes ago, and
mhm,
the guiding, that lighted path, like, that's how I find my way in
mhm,
those moments of stillness and just quiet.
mhm. You made me think about one more while you were talking. Listening to the news.
Oh, girl, I can't stand the news. Jesus, no.
It is too much. It is
Mm-mm.
too much. It is
Yeah.
too much. Let me tell you, it used to be just the news, and now they have the tickers at the bottom that keep scrolling. It's
Mhm.
like you're getting my attention like two or three different ways. It's too much, and then it's just death, 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 and murder, 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 and kill, kill, kill. I'm just I can't take it. And so for me, signaled living alone helps you with this. I
Mhm.
will say because I'm in a small household, and all of us have similar tendencies related to just being comfortable with ourselves.
Mhm.
So my husband could be in his man cave or his garage cave all by himself for hours, doing his own thing, watching TV,
Mhm.
washing the car, all that. My son loves his room, loves his own space. And I love my room. So we could be in the house in our own separate spaces doing our own thing.
Mhm.
85, 90% of the time, we're all at peace, right?
Mhm.
It's that 5% of the time. First thing in the morning, my husband loves the news.
Mhm.
And right before he goes to bed, he loves the news.
Mhm.
So in the morning, it helps me though because it signals me as soon as he starts that I know I need to go do my EPMD, my exercise,
Mhm.
my prayer, my meditation and devotion because I
Mhm.
can't take it. And
Yeah.
then at night is cool because he gonna watch news for 5 minutes before he fall asleep, and then I can I can turn it off and he won't know the difference.
Yeah.
But it's sensory overload is real,
Mhm.
is what I think we're saying. It happens to us.
Mhm.
And if it happens to you, we would love to know that. Please share it with us at speakpipe.com. What are the triggers for you as it relates to sensory overload? How do you experience it? If you've never experienced it, share that with us as well. We want to hear from you, and you've heard some of the ways that we manage it, right? That we turn some things off, we still ourselves, we get by ourselves.
Mhm.
How do you deal with it, and how do you prevent it, or shift from it? What do you do to make it, to calm yourself and quiet yourself when you experience sensory overload? I think it's important for us to know ourselves so well that
Mm.
we know when it's just too much
Yeah.
and what to do for because it's going to be different for a lot of people, right? But what to do for ourselves that would bring us back to a place of rest and peace and
Mhm.
stability. That's
Mhm.
so important.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
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 Well, thank
Mhm.
y'all for thank you, sister. And
That's
I am
good.
certain we're going to get somebody's going to be the first on speakpipe.com. And
Mhm.
I can't wait to hear. Feel free to make this a part of that. Well, that has been our deep dive. So we can come back up a little bit. Um, this is really this segment is put myself, yourself,
Mhm.
in her shoes, could be their shoes, his shoes, but it gives us an opportunity to discuss a current event or pose a trending question or scenario, and put ourselves in the shoes of the folks that we're talking about. Instead of pointing the fingers, we really just talk about what we would do in that
Mhm.
position. And sister, I've had this happen in my life, and
Okay.
so I wanted to just broaden it a bit and present a scenario to you, and see what you would think about it, putting
Okay.
yourself in their shoes.
Mhm.
So, several men and women, I have seen it happen out in the world of social media, and I
Mhm.
have personally experienced it, have come out and publicly denounced their connection to and commitment to fraternities and sororities.
Hmm.
Because most of the time when I've heard it, it's because of their religious beliefs,
Okay.
um, because they feel like there's something going on with fraternities and sororities, the vows that are taken or the commitments that are made that doesn't align with their religious and spiritual beliefs.
Hmm.
So as a result, whenever anybody decides, because we wouldn't know until they did it on social media, right? So
Mhm.
so when they do it, some are have been, you look in the comments or see someone talking about it. Some are celebrated for doing it because, good for you aligning with your religious beliefs. Others are ridiculed for putting it out on public social media, like, why you here?
Yeah.
Um, why you telling us, or
Mhm.
why are you even doing it, right? Because what's the big deal? if if you had a change of heart, just putting yourself in those people's shoes who do it,
Mhm.
and maybe even flipping it after you hear someone do it, what's your take on them putting it out there publicly? But if you had a change of heart regarding your affiliation with something, would
Mhm.
you feel the need to publicly announce it? Maybe under what circumstances you would feel the need to do that? And if you had someone close to you in your life, like a line sister or someone that you knew,
Mhm.
who denounced his or her affiliation, what would your thoughts be about it?
That is very interesting. So I'm not a part of a sorority, but just
Mhm,
any type of organization,
mhm,
affiliation. Um, for me, I think the only way I would say something publicly is if I was an advocate for this organization, if I were a big participant, volunteer in the organization, or held a position and people knew me because of that organization. I think
mhm,
that would probably be the only time that I would feel, and I was a public figure and had been using this organization as a part of my platform. That's when I would probably share that I'm no longer affiliated or associated with it. I
mhm,
don't see when else I would do that.
mhm,
I personally don't understand the need, or don't see the need to publicly say it because it's my religious belief. I'm denouncing a certain sorority. Like, I wouldn't me personally, I wouldn't feel like I needed to do that because that's me and my relationship with God. Um,
mhm,
so I wouldn't see why I would need to involve other people in that. So if someone were
mhm,
to ask, I would share, that I'm no longer affiliated with it, but I just don't see the need to make a post or a video about, "Oh, I'm no longer." It's to me, it just brings more attention. It would bring more attention to me that I'm just not interested in because it's a
mhm.
personal decision for me. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's my
yeah.
thought. Mhm.
Cool. And then would you have any level of reaction to someone else doing it? Like, what is you're not interested in doing it. Someone you know or you're affiliated with. There's
Mhm.
some organization that you're connected to, and is it just do you boo, or
Things like that, I always get curious, like, I wonder why they're doing that, like, what's behind that? I just would want to know the reason behind it because I don't know. So I would
Mhm,
want to know from them, like, what compelled them to want to share that so publicly. So it would just be curiosity that I would feel. Yeah.
That's fair. So for me, I am putting myself in their shoes.
Mhm.
Um, I agree with you. It brings to mind not just sororities and fraternities, but Scientology. There are a
Mhm.
lot of celebrities or just people in general. Documentaries are out there about people who have been connected to Scientology, and
Mhm.
they come back and say, "I need to publicly say something about this."
Mhm.
And and typically, it's because not only is it a personal decision for me, but I think it is detrimental to others. And
Okay.
so that's why I'm choosing to share
Mhm.
publicly that I made the decision. So just in case someone else is feeling shy or in fear about taking that step
Mhm.
away from the organization,
Mhm.
maybe my decision being made public and them hearing about it emboldens them
Mhm.
to do it, to take that step too.
Mhm.
I understand that, and I am such a live and let live type of person that if you choose to do it privately or publicly, do you.
Mhm.
Um, and if you honestly feel like you're helping someone by sharing it publicly to whomever your audience is, by all means, share,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? I just think we have to be honest
Yeah.
about why we are sharing,
Yeah. Yeah.
that it's not just my personal decision. I am trying to convince someone else to do
Mhm.
something different,
Mhm.
um, and maybe evangelizing in some way, one way or the other, jump in or jump out of it.
Mhm.
So I think there's a level of, if you're gonna be public about it, put it all out there. What exactly are you doing it for? But I am live and let live. And if someone close, I have had someone close to me it
Mhm.
happened for them, and it's so interesting. We find ourselves similar in some instances and not in others.
Mhm.
um, I may have been curious up here,
Mhm.
but because I would personally share with you if I wanted to share more,
Mm.
I'm usually not the one to ask the extra questions.
Mhm.
And so I didn't in that case. I just said, love you, here for you if you need me.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to make sure we cool. We still cool. If we
Right.
still cool with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I also think it's dependent upon level of relationship too. Uh,
Yeah.
but I would think if that person was dealing with those feelings and wanted to share with me either while they were deliberating or after they've made a decision and they wanted to give me some insight into I figured they would have, or they
Mhm.
would. So I'll choose not to ask any questions. I ask all the questions when it comes to my closest sister circles.
Yeah.
so
Absolutely. Yeah.
so that's different. It's my level of relationship, I think. So
Mhm.
that
That
would
makes
that would
sense.
determine whether I dig in a little bit
Yeah.
deeper.
That makes me think about real quick
What?
the purity culture, the
Mhm.
promise and all of that. I've heard a lot of people denounce in a way
Mhm.
those type organizations because of what happens to them and kind of the falsehoods that they feel those organizations can spread and just mislead people. And then when people get married, there's still things that they're dealing with. So that came to mind because I've heard married women say, I don't agree with
Mhm.
the purity movement because of
Mhm.
some of the things, the messaging. Yeah.
Yeah. And in all fairness, the flip, right? The
Mhm.
flip, I personally became vocal about my yoga
Mhm,
journey. I
mhm.
didn't have to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, um, to the extent that I wanted to have students in my class, I could have just advertised that I'm
Mhm,
a yoga instructor, join my
mhm,
class,
mhm,
but I felt a need to talk about my my transition and my journey into being a yoga teacher and having and learning what it meant for me to be a student of yoga,
Yeah.
um, and a practitioner of yoga.
Mhm.
Uh, because I did think it's same thing, but flip side, I thought it would help someone to
Mhm.
better understand um, the transition
Yeah.
and the journey that I've been on. And I can honestly say I wasn't looking for, nor was I expecting validation of my
Mhm.
decision.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was a bit surprised at the vitriol that I
Yeah.
received,
Mhm.
the venom behind some of the,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for validation from anyone. It
Mhm.
was sincerely to be of help if I could to someone who could benefit from what I believe are the benefits of yoga.
Mhm.
So I guess there's merit, live and let live. There's merits
Mhm.
to whatever your decision is.
All of it. Yep.
Yeah. We would love to hear from you. Listen, we get to say that all throughout every episode now because we have this medium where you can talk to us. Would love to hear if you have had an experience, whether you personally have denounced an organization or whether you know someone who has, or how you feel about that in general. We'd love for you to put yourself in their shoes and let us know what you think. This has
Yeah.
been awesome. I've loved this episode.
Yes. Yes.
Real
Really
feel good.
insightful. Yeah.
Real feel good. So,
Mhm.
sister, does anything come up for you for our last segment? Spiritual nugget. Thinking about doesn't have to be what we've talked about today, but is there any word or idea or thought that comes to mind right now?
Yeah, it kind of relates to everything that we've talked about with rest, with sensory overload, and then with denouncing fraternities, sororities, or any other affiliation. We are inundated with opinions of other people.
You talking good.
Now I feel like more than ever before because of social media, the internet, and all that. So I would just offer create spaces for you to disconnect
Mhm.
so that you can really hear yourself, your own thoughts, so that you can commune with God if that's what you desire. Because
Mhm.
there's so many things, so many people telling us what we should do, and so many opinions about everybody else in the world and their decisions that we can drown in the noise.
Mhm.
So I would just ask that you would create space for you to disconnect, to steal away, and just be with yourself so that you can have balance.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm. I know it's a spiritual nugget when it causes me to inhale more deeply
Mm.
and release something. Thank you, sister. Mm.
Mhm.
Stay
Yeah.
alive. So
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Y'all, this has been a goody episode to me.
Yes, it
We so appreciate you all helping us get to what we announced last episode, 100 episodes in what feels like a short bit of time for us because we just
wow.
time flies when you're having fun. So we're looking forward to hundreds and thousands more. Share this with someone that you know. Go to all of your podcast platforms and like us and follow us and download and listen and watch. We want to engage with you. We want to hear from you.
Mhm.
Um, we want you to talk back to us now at speakpipe.com/real women, real talk. And we want you, if you are in or near an area where we host a physical sister circle, we want you to visit us.
Yeah.
Go to realwomenrock.org in order to find out more about our sister circles. Realwomenrock.org will give you what the latest sister circles are. And if you are not in or near any of them, we have a virtual sister circle for you
Yes.
every second Saturday. So join us.
Mhm.
Sister, we are real women.
Yes, we are. And real women talk, honey. Yes, we do.
For
Mhm.
real, for real. Bye, y'all.
Bye.